Many of my friends, the new friends I am meeting on e-commerce platforms, in the LinkedIn live events, a lot of our meetups, new people are coming in, and they always want to hear my story. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit of what I have been doing and how did I arrive at this stage where I'm basically termed as the India expert in the e-commerce community in the US, and close to 30,000 people who are selling on e-commerce in the US, and I'm part of their community. I started my journey. I was born in a small village near Delhi, brought up and born with very educated parents. My mother has been a very strong supporter to the family. My father was very humble, very honest, and I did my engineering by not by choice, but yes, it was a family. I was actually a soccer player and not very good in studies, so they thought we have a construction business at home. He might land up with the government job because we have some connections in the government. So just go ask him to do a civil engineering job, and that should be enough. And he's just not very serious. But eventually, I got very serious in my studies. When I went out of the home, I learned. I became a street smart kid when I was in college. As you will relate, when you're in college, you learn so much about life. Once I came back, I was really promising and really hopeful that I would be landing up with a government job, or I would help my family business in construction. But within a year, I could figure out that both are not good, both are not available to me, or I was not cut out for that. Eventually, I found out my passion, which was creating products, international marketing, exports, traveling, and that got me hooked. And I did my export diploma for a year in one of the government organization, which were doing basically a correspondence or a long distance course, weekend classes kind of a course. I did that for a year, and they, just for my training as an intern, they put me into an international exhibition way back in 1994. That was my first international exposure, where I was sitting in one of the booths of the export companies, and we were looking at buyers, international customers. My first order was from a Hungary company for some Jaipur handicraft, and that got me really happy, and that got me kicking that yes, I can do something. Eventually, I landed up getting into manufacturing big time, all the way till supplying to Walmart Canada, Walmart US, Walmart UK, as well as Asda. But then my first break, I would say, or first bankruptcy hit me hard during the World Trade Center, and eventually forced me back to close down all manufacturing. We can always discuss that in private. How did it happen, and what lessons did I learn from them? I would definitely make a video out of it, that what lessons did I learn from my first failure in life and business. Eventually, I went to Canada to rep some companies because I had no money, had a lot of debt on my hand, a family, a small child, and within 1.5 years, I really came out very well, became very positive in finances as well as in life. But why health issues of my wife forced us back to India, and I started working for a company as a marketing manager. But that entrepreneur thing always kept coming in. Always there were people who were asking me for help or something to do with their businesses. Eventually, I landed up opening a service company called a sourcing company, which is a buying house, to serve a US customer, an importer who was supplying to PA1 and a lot of other retailers. And all these years, I've been a North American specialist. I knew how this market works, the price points, the pattern, the buying behavior, and anything and everything about what Americans think as a buyer. We successfully ran that buying agency in partnership until 2014. Eventually, we parted our ways. I shifted back to Delhi. My other partner was in Noida, and during around that time in 2013, I opened my US company just to make sure that all these payment issues and everything is in place. And I love doing business in US, and there was an opportunity where I can explore that if I open my office in the US, I can do a lot more. And that was our beginning of a US entity journey. I learned on the way how do I do it, how the CPA is hired, how the lawyers are hired, how do you actually create an entity. And I made this as a business as well. I have helped a lot of companies set up their US offices after that, which I did myself. And in 2018, we started this US consulting in full time. We were bringing factories to set up their entity in the US, set up their brands, and sell across board, whether it's physical, retail, mom and pop stores, sales and distribution, key accounts or e-commerce, everything was there, and we got for our first success in 2021. Meanwhile, my buying office is still running. That's my bread and butter business. In 2020, I was connected with a lawyer, a very professional, I would say, and very passionate lawyer who was building one of very unique businesses of cargo damage claims, and eventually we landed up having a cargo damage claim and payment recovery both as service and solution providing platform for exporters and importers and buyers, and I became a partner with her for India business. We have been very successfully doing that business. Recently, when I was in US and I was with my community of e-commerce sellers, I could see that there is a lot of hope and a lot of demand from the e-commerce industry. And my experience so far in the last 5 to 7 years working with e-commerce players has been they were not regarded as business owners. Yes, guys, frankly, e-commerce players, somebody who says I'm a seller on Amazon, they were not treated very seriously by factories or manufacturers. They will say, oh, it's just a side hustle guy, and I don't think they are going to do a serious business. But believe me, now in the last 3 years or 4 years, factories also have taken a very deep shift into their mindset of looking at Amazon sellers or e-commerce sellers into very seriously, especially when they are themselves also selling on a domestic e-commerce, Flipkart or Amazon India, and also serving a lot of Amazon sellers or wholesalers who are actually e-commerce players. But there are a lot of ifs and buts into it. And being an expert, being a consultant, looking at both the avenues for almost 30 years now, I understand where the pitfalls are. What are the things which you need to take care? And that is where I positioned myself and I positioned my company as a consulting firm to help you guys, whether you are an e-commerce seller, whether you're a wholesaler, whether you're an Indian factory looking to expand your business in the international forum, or if you are stuck with some payment recoveries or some issues legally which you need some consulting on, that's where I have labeled myself as my expertise. I would be a proactive person looking at pros and cons of the situation. I can connect you guys to different things which you require in your own industry or how to scale your business. And that is how, and I love doing this business. I love helping people. That's why we created a huge community of sourcing consultants under the Federation of Buying Agents as well. When we were thinking about doing this way back in 2016 and 2018, in 2018 we actually formally came up with this idea and we gathered and we got them registered, is to help the industry, whether it's the industry of sourcing agents, buying agents, liaison offices, or it's the industry of exporters, or it's the industry of buyers. And that is what has been my passion. I would say I did a lot of good work for myself, for my team, for my company, for my family, but on a bigger platform, I would say I am doing a great job for my community, for my country, for the industry which has actually given me so far. So this is all about me. Thank you so much.